everyone, and welcome to the Digital Nomad Mom Podcast. This show is all about the digital nomad lifestyle coupled with family topics. We'll also cover other lifestyle optimization strategies for good measure. Follow these tips and tactics to design a life with more freedom, excitement, and greater joy. Today, I'm joined with Palle Bo, and Palle is one pioneer and a very experienced podcast guy out there, and I'm very curious what he will share with us today. He's definitely one of those successful digital nomads and has a lot of stories to share. We already chatted a little bit in the beginning before we started recording now. So yes, before I hand over to Palle, I would like to welcome new listeners, and if you want to keep up with the show, please join in. I upload every other week a new episode, so subscribe to the channel if you're interested in all these topics. So welcome, Palle. Thanks for taking your time, and I think you better describe yourself a little bit so that the listeners know who you are and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you, first of all, Julia, for having me
Yeah,
on your podcast. We met back in Chiang Mai. Was it in January, I think, of this year?
Yes.
And from there I went to Bali, and now I'm in Cape Town, sitting out the lockdown. Well, my name is Palle. I'm from Denmark. I'm a radio producer and a podcaster, and since I realized I could do that anywhere, I sold everything, my house and my car and all my furniture, and when my two daughters moved out of the house because they were grown up and graduated, so did I. I moved out of the house in the summer of 2016, and had been traveling and fully nomadic ever since. And like I like to say, I'm homeless by choice. So yeah. I literally don't have an address anywhere. I'm totally without an address, and I'm not even a resident. I still have a Danish passport, so I'm a Danish citizen, but I'm not a resident, and I don't have a home anywhere.
Okay, and you told me before we started this interview, you told me that you are really having the travel bugs biting you, because you even move from one place to another within Cape Town. Tell me about this.
Yeah. Well, I came to Cape Town in March, and I was expecting, okay, this COVID and lockdown, this is going to be a couple of months. I didn't expect it to be this long, but it was kind of on purpose that I ended up here in Cape Town, because I thought if I need to get stuck somewhere, Cape Town is the place I'd like to get stuck. It's still my favorite city in the world, and the only place outside of Denmark where I really thought I could live here. So I really love it here, and but still, the first apartment I stayed in, that was in Greenpoint, a beautiful apartment that I rented from a friend of mine, and I stayed there for 2.5 months, and even though it was wonderful and the area and the neighborhood was great, I was going nuts. I needed the move, because up until then I stayed in 315 different places when I got there, and over 4 years, so that's an average of 4.5 days per place. It might sound crazy, but sometimes what brings the number down is sometimes I do a road trip where it's just 1 day per place and then on to another one, and sometimes I stay longer. But I really needed a change of scenery and a different view from my balcony. So I moved a couple of kilometers to the City Bowl, where I had a balcony with a beautiful view of Table Mountain. It was right outside my window. Cool. So just sitting there with a cup of coffee, that's totally inspiring, and watching the different colors of this magnificent mountain. It's and the clouds going over, and it was amazing. And then actually I moved a bit south to a suburb called Hout Bay. That's where I am now. Mm-hmm. And I did that because I have some friends that I met in the nomad community. Samantha, and she's from Cape Town, and she's also back here for the lockdown and staying with her family. So I got to know her a bit more, and all her family and friends. So I got a community of friends that I hang out with. So I decided to move down here, so it would be easy for me to just drop what I had if they said, "Are you stopping by for a glass of wine?" And we do that every Friday. It's become a tradition, and really, I made some very nice friends here in Hout Bay. So after the first month, I moved 500 meters to where I am right now, and just again for a change of scenery and another view. So now I can see beautiful mountains outside here again, and I can even see the beach, and it's very nice. But I'm coming to the end of the month, so Sunday or Monday, I'm moving to again, and I'm moving to Camps Bay, where I rented an apartment with that's a part of a house where a friend of mine lives. A local friend, actually he's German, but he lives here in Cape Town most of the time, and I met him in the local Rotary Club when I visited them first 7 years ago, and then again 2 years ago when I was here the last time. So we became good friends, and he offered me to rent his apartment, and it's a part of his house, so I can still hang out with him and do stuff, but I got my own space as well. It's a fully furnished apartment with a small kitchen as well, and so I get my privacy, and still it's just a nice place to be. And Camps Bay is just awesome. It's one of the more expensive areas of Cape Town. So I'm glad I'm getting the chance to live there for a bit.
Wow, so cool, and such a smart thing to do, I think, especially in crazy times like now, Corona. We who love this lifestyle, and we need to simply nourish our needs, and this is a way to do it. So good on you.
Exactly.
Speaking of community, you mentioned now many times friends, and I was wondering how do you feel about the power of community while traveling and living this lifestyle? I mean, now you're always in the same city, but usually you move around very often. Do you make many friends on the road, and do you come back for the people, or how is that for you?
Yeah, well, I mentioned Nomad Cruise before, and I've done 3 Nomad Cruises. And once you've been on one, you're a part of the alumni, and it's a really, really nice community of like-minded people. And because of you're a part of this alumni, you can always reach out and say, well, I'm here in this place now. Are there anyone here? So I use that a lot. And when I was in Bali, I think we had a meetup of 50 people that had been on the Nomad Cruise. So we had a big pool party and got to hang out. I use co-working spaces from time to time, not that much because I work with sound, and when I'm editing, I like to be in a place where I can have it over a speaker and not sit with headphones a full day when I'm editing sound. I can't do that in a co-work space. But if I'm doing some writing or some graphic work, I go to co-work spaces as well. So that's a good place. But then try to hook up with the meetups that they're having. There's also I'm a part of a WhatsApp group for Cape Town nomads right now, and they organize hikes and meetups for coffee and stuff like that. So it's nice to go out and meet people. And I'm a social creature, but I'm also totally fine with being on my own. When I'm working, I don't mind just being by myself and without any distractions. So I spend a lot of time on my own as well, but I like going out and meeting people and making new friends. When I'm traveling, yeah.
No, I was just gonna ask you quickly. Were you on the Nomad Cruise in 2016 from Colombia to Portugal?
No.
Okay.
My first one was from Malaga in Spain to Athens. So that was the Nomad Cruise number 6 in the Mediterranean. And actually, I do my travel podcast, the Radio Vagabond, and I just finished editing 3 episodes from that Nomad Cruise. I'm so way behind in editing, so
wow.
it was in 2018, and I haven't put that out yet. So that's coming out in the next season of Radio Vagabond, and 3 episodes from the Nomad Cruise. But I've done 2 more since then. I did the Barcelona to Brazil Nomad Cruise, and then last year, around a year ago, in November last year, I did the Athens through the Suez Canal down to Jordan, Oman, and then ending up in Dubai. So yeah, I've done 3 so far, and I really hope that they will get it back after this
we'll
crazy
see.
world.
Of course, yeah, because otherwise we would have met in 2016 already, because I was on that cruise. But yeah. So yeah, excited. And speaking about your podcast, you just told me also before this interview started that you're working on a world record. Tell me a little bit about this. It sounds like you're collecting numbers and records.
No, but it's not really something that I strive to do. I just thought, because I just wrapped up season 4 of my podcast, where I was traveling through a lot of countries in Africa, starting in Fez in Morocco, made my way down through the Western Africa and Ethiopia, and then I went back to Cape Town, and then did a road trip after that, where I tried to go to Lesotho and what was then Swaziland and Mozambique. And so I did a lot of traveling in Africa, and I think I produced 31 episodes of that season. Wow. And then just as a fun thing, I started, why don't I edit this, take out all my sponsors and where I'm plugging this and that, and go to my Facebook page, all of that people normally would say, oh, come on, we've heard this before. Yeah. And just doing one long episode where it's pure travel content. And when I was almost done doing that, I thought, oh my God, this is quite long. It's more than 12 hours of pure travel content. And
that is crazy.
My podcast it's not just me sitting talking. It's one episode I spent maybe 2, 3 full working days editing. So a lot of editing goes into it, and it's a lot of field recordings where I'm walking the streets, driving on the train, or in a taxi, or meeting local peoples and chatting to them. And so it's a lot of field recordings that's been edited, and now it's out as one long episode. I don't know when you're going to put this one out, but I think it might be, this one is coming out Monday, September 1st. So
okay, yeah. You might beat me.
So I might beat you. So it might be out there. So go and have a listen. So I know it's crazy long, and I started doing some research. Has anyone ever done a podcast episode? I mean, one single podcast episode that's longer, and as far as I know, no one has. So now I've submitted it to Guinness Book of World Records just as a joke to see if it is the longest, and if they will approve me. So yeah, it's a record attempt all of a sudden, but it's just something that is good for a quiet Sunday where you don't have anything else to do, or a big road trip of your own. So yeah, that's the general idea of it.
Yeah, very nice. Well, fingers crossed. Good luck, and yeah, we'll all tune in and see how it goes, and you'll keep us posted if that record comes your way.
And make sure you listen to everything.
Everything from start to end, of course. Tell me a little bit about it. I mean, I can definitely hear and and see also that you love this lifestyle. And but maybe the listeners who have not yet started becoming a digital nomad or who are still thinking about it, what would you say is for you the best part about it, and then also the challenges that brings this lifestyle, that the lifestyle brings with it?
Yeah. The first one part of that question is the easy one to answer, because I don't really see that many challenges or downsides. Right now, I've got a few challenges. We all got a few challenges in not being able to move. But for me, the cool thing about living this lifestyle is that I realize I've been traveling 4 years, and for me, it feels like 20 years. And normally it's the other way around. When the older we get, the faster time moves is something that's similar, well known that when we were kids, time moved slowly. It was like forever from Christmas to Christmas. And now as we get older, we're thinking, really? Is it all? Are they already putting up Christmas decoration again? How did that happen? It was just, they just put it down. But since I've started traveling, I felt that time is expanding. So time moves slower, and I started looking into why is that and what's going on, and realized that it's because I'm taking in so much new information all the time that my brain tricks me, and it makes me feel like time is moving slower. So when I'm looking back, 4 years, that's not a long time, especially if I was back in the day-to-day life. Time would move much faster, and 4 years would fly by very quickly. So for me, that's the cool thing, is that I get to feel like I've lived until I'm 150 years old
nice.
when I kick the bucket, because I'm slowing down time this way. So I think that's cool. And then obviously it's a huge adventure, and going out and seeing new sights, and especially meeting new people and making new friends all over the world. I think that's so enriching and so excellent.
Wonderful.
But as for the challenges, I would say that the biggest challenge for me, not so much anymore, it seems like COVID has helped this, is that it's hard to keep up with my professional network of clients. Being from Denmark, and with my production company, where I produce radio commercials and sound design and podcasts for clients that are mostly Danish. It was hard, especially in the beginning, to maintain my network, and because I was a little bit out of mind, out of sight. It's funny. The last year I've been super busy, and I got more busy than I've been in a very long time. And I think it's the world is getting used to that. You don't need to be in the same room in order to do business. So now it's my clients they don't see it as a challenge that I'm not in Denmark, and they might have done that before, but I think that's a good thing for nomads. And I think when we come out of this, I have a feeling there might be a lot more nomads, and a lot of more people be location independent, and because companies have seen, you do your work wherever you are. So if you like to sit somewhere in Thailand or in an exotic place, just as long as you deliver your work and do that. So that was a challenge. I especially after 2 years of traveling, I was really getting to a point where I thought I need to change the way I promote myself, because I had no work at that time. And now I do. I've been, my biggest client is Lego, and I produced a Lego soundtrack for a new product for grown-ups called Lego Art, where I planned out and edited interviews about the Star Wars universe, where we spoke to the people that made that. We did one about Andy Warhol, where we spoke to some experts and some artists, and we did one about Iron Man and the Marvel universe. So that is super interesting and super cool work, and we liked it so much, and they liked it so much. They hired me back for the next seasons that's coming out early next year. So that's what I'm working on right now.
That's amazing. I mean, congratulations on that project. That sounds really like a fun work and fun job. But then your Radio Vagabond, is that still, that's your passion project, or is that also something that you earn money from? You said you have sponsors.
Yeah. I do have a sponsor. It's more a passion project right now. I get opportunities. I get invited to go on press trips with other content creators. I was in Antigua and Barbuda last year, and also 2 weeks in Sri Lanka, invited by Sri Lankan tourism. That's only because of the podcast. So I'm trying to treat it more as a business. You might see some stuff hanging here in the background, and I hired actually my nomadic friend here from Cape Town, Samantha, and her business partner Jaden. They have an agency called On the Run, so I hired them, and we've done some workshops on how to build the Radio Vagabond brand. So
cool.
That's been super interesting, and I had that printed out and put on the wall so I can really take it in, because there was very much information, and it's really interesting to even though I come from a marketing background, it was very, very interesting to have some talented people look at it with a fresh perspective. So yeah.
Yeah,
I try to treat it as a brand, and it's not something that's generating much income for me right now. But I hope that I try to grow the audience, and I try to look at opportunities, and maybe it will be a part of my income at some point. I hope so.
And you know
what? But that's not what I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think it's still a smart thing to have something like this, as long as, I mean, if it's your passion, and then plus, like you say, if it brings you connections, and they could lead indirectly or directly to income. It doesn't matter, because people also want to know you, or the sides of you, other variations of you, and some people have blogs, you have your podcast, and I recommend having one online platform when you're a digital nomad, where you showcase one of your talents, or even all of them. I think that's a good way to do, and good way to start. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a platform that has given me clients. I'm also producing, and I'm co-hosting the TBEX podcast called Travel Matters. TBEX is this global organization that do conferences and events for travel content creators. And
I think that's where we met the first time, Palle. Can I interrupt you here?
We did?
Not in Prague, in the Czech Republic, here, Ostrava.
In the Czech Republic, Ostrava. That's right. I totally forgot about. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I think we didn't really.
And, I know that we were both hoping to go to Sicily, which didn't happen, and I was also planning to go to Lafayette in the US for
also
that one.
Happen.
And that was also canceled. The Sicily one, they're still hoping that will be in 21. And then they're doing upstate in Washington State, the Tri-Cities, and then later in Lafayette, the one that didn't happen. So I, as a part of producing that podcast, I also have to go to all the conferences, which is a nice perk as a part of that.
Very nice. Cool. So, sorry, now I have to make a break. Or
no, but I think it's going to be like that BBC interview where all of a sudden the door behind you opens and kids come in, and then somebody comes and tries to take them out. I can't wait for that. I can hear actually, the kids in the background.
You can. It's the baby phone. So, I said I needed now an hour, but today is simply it's not my day. I hear now my eldest.
But so you're saying that we take a small break and I can make some more coffee and we'll be back in 5-10 minutes to wrap it up.
That's a good idea. Cool. I need to check on him. Can we do that? Then I press pause here and
we'll be right back after these.
Thank you so much. Oh boy. I do pause to resume. Yes. So, Palle, tell us a little bit about your private or family life also, since you mentioned you have 2 daughters and you're living this crazy travel lifestyle, and now you're such a long time in Cape Town. How is this happen? I mean, how is this working out for you with your family and leaving your daughters back home? Are they in Denver?
Yeah. First, I just want to mention that you might be able to hear the rain in the background now. It started raining really hard, and it might also be super windy. So that's the noise you will hear in the background. We're in the middle of winter here in Cape Town, so that's the way it goes. With my daughters, I have, like I mentioned, 2 daughters. They're 23 and 26, and both in university and living in their own flats and having a good life, and we are very, very close. We communicate all the time. We have a Facebook Messenger chat where we share everything, and they share some of their favorite TikToks, and we share photos of hey, I just made this for dinner, and so it's every single day that we share all kinds of stuff, and then I video call them all the time, and we just speak for a long time, and I'm very, very close with my daughters, and very much we're a part of each other's lives. The only downside is that I can't give them a hug, but that's something that we really gotten used to over the last 4 years. In the beginning of my journey, my youngest daughter had a gap year. So, and she's a YouTuber. So I said, why don't you come out and travel with me for a bit? And if you help me produce some YouTube videos for me, I'll feed you. So
nice deal.
And you might even have met her in Chiang Mai when we met in January, because that was where we started that Asia journey, and she liked it so much. So when she heard that I was going back to Chiang Mai, she said, "Okay, I'm booking a flight. I'm coming out there." And also now she's studying anthropology. So and she wants to do her bachelor about digital nomads. So
cool.
she said, "Let me go and join the Nomad Summit and meet some of the people there." And I see it a bit as field work. And when she was traveling with me, we were in Chiang Mai, and then we went to Laos, did a lot of traveling in Vietnam. Sorry. That was right close to the microphone here. So yeah, Hope I didn't blow any speakers.
Okay, my ears.
And then we went to Cambodia, Hong Kong, did a bit of traveling in China. I even took her to North Korea, and then South Korea and Japan. And then my oldest daughter came out to Japan. So we had 2 weeks together, the 3 of us, during cherry blossom season in Japan, which was absolutely wonderful. The last time I was here in Cape Town, they also came down here, both of them, and we spent a week together in Cape Town, and I got to show them my favorite city. So then I go back to Denmark from time to time whenever I can. It has been more or less every 6 months. I've been back for a little bit, so I get to see them there, and also my other friends and my siblings and stuff like that. So, but I'm very close to my daughters, and I think they think that it's kind of cool what I'm doing, so
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't feel that it's any problem. And
I,
they're busy out doing their own thing, and I kind of thought, okay, this is my window to go traveling, because when they start having a family and they finally start producing grandchildren for me, that's when I will go back to Denmark and be a part of that. So.
Ah.
I'm normally saying that I'm traveling until that happens, and they are telling me that's not going to be anytime soon. So yeah,
Yeah, no, we'll see who's right there. Can happen overnight,
yeah.
but wow, that's such a sweet story, and so good on you that you have your daughters so close, and that it works. Also, I mean, not for everyone, especially when they're so big already. It doesn't really work out for everyone to take their children on trips, because then you have different interests, obviously, also different ideas about how a trip might be. So I think traveling in general with children is absolutely feasible, and I mean we've been doing it since our kids are born, but they are so small, so they don't get to say where to go, but they just tag along. And but I can see myself also going on trips with my children when they're your daughter's age, so that's a totally different experience, right? Cool. And
Absolutely.
you mentioned now several times that Cape Town is your favorite place, but after that, can you maybe say where else in the world you could see yourself spending more time, or where you've been, where it's really nice, and then maybe combine it with the question, what's going to happen after the doors are open again and flights are possible for you?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, when I'm editing my podcast, I, I I hear myself saying so many times, "Oh, this is a place I need to go back to and explore some more." There are so many places. Uh, I I have the goal to visit every single country in the world, and there are 193 UN nations. But it's not like I'm rushing through and just ticking off boxes. I go back to places I've been before, and I'm at, I think, around 90 countries right now. So I'm not even halfway through that
Mm.
goal. So, but it's not the ultimate thing that I need to rush and just count countries. I like
Right.
to go and see new places, but I also like to go back. And there are a lot of places that I'm pretty sure I'll go back to. I've yeah, well, Toronto is another great city when we're talking
Yeah.
about cities, but I also want to explore Argentina more. I've only been to Buenos Aires and that area, and I want to explore that a lot more. But I could say that about just about any place I've been to, that I would like to go back and explore that
Explore
some
more.
more. And I'll definitely come back to Thailand again, and I will be on some of the islands as well, and
Okay.
so
You might see me
and a
hanging out
lot of
there.
other places in Asia. Exactly.
Cool.
But where I'm going after COVID, honestly, I have no idea. I
Yeah.
really don't know. First of all, I don't know how long time I'm going to stay here. When they're going to open up for commercial flights out of the country. I could. I've heard people say it's not going to be in 2020. So I might even spend Christmas and New Year's here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But but I really don't know. I probably fly back to Denmark and then be there for a little bit and then just take it from there. I've been to every single country in Europe, in mainland Europe. I only need to go to Cyprus and Iceland. That's the only two countries in Europe I haven't been to. So I really don't need to explore Europe much more. But still, I'd like to do a lot more traveling in the UK. I've only been to England and Scotland and Ireland. I want to do more in Scotland, and I want to do Wales as well, and also a lot more in Ireland and Northern Ireland. I want to explore more, but you see, that's not a part of the 193. That's not something that will change that number. So, but it's about the journey and not the number count that much. But to be honest, I don't know. And then there might be a TBEX in August next year, so I'll be in the US for that. And then I could see myself traveling a little bit more in the US. I also want to visit every state, and I've done 42 so far. So, so yeah, that's just going out and seeing new places. But I honestly, I don't know where I'm going to go from here.
Yeah, I think many people can relate to that, and it's definitely one of the hardest questions right now. Yeah, who knows? And I think all we can do is be flexible, be open, and simply wait. Drink our cup of tea and wait, or cup of coffee, and see what the world is turning into, and the governments decide, and then move on from that afterwards. So.
And also I really I don't have any guess on what traveling is going to be like after COVID.
That's true. Yeah.
Is it going to be very different? Is it going to be super expensive? Is it going to be?
Who knows?
I really don't know.
That's true. So even though we are looking into an uncertain future, it still, people can chase their dreams. And if one of your dreams, who are listening today, is to become a digital nomad, or continue your journey and live this digital nomad lifestyle, maybe one last piece of advice for anyone who is listening right now and interested in this, and then we're wrapping up the show. Palle, what do you say?
Yeah. What I did when I started planning, that was actually also after a trip to Cape Town, where I realized I can work anywhere, and I started thinking, why not go traveling for a couple of years? That's what I said at the time. And what I did was I said it out loud. I set a date, July 16. So that was around 2 years later, or maybe even 3 years later. And then I said it loud, posted on Facebook, this is my plan. And whenever I made some ideas about my plan and where I wanted to go, I would post that as well. I actually met someone a year after I did that, who said, aren't you traveling? I thought you were traveling. And I thought I said it very clearly. No, it's going to be in a couple of years. So, but that was a part of the process of me getting mentally ready for it, and also committing myself to it, because I said it out so loud that it would be almost embarrassing if I changed my mind. But it was never in my plan to change my mind. But set a date. That's an advice, and then just to make it happen. And it was a big process of selling and getting rid of all my stuff, and selling the house, and giving out, trying to sell my furniture, and driving a lot, throwing it away, and giving things away to charity, and all of that. So it was a big process, and also it was a bit scary, especially a couple of months before, when I could see that my house was getting more and more empty. I was at a point where I thought, what the hell am I doing? Is this a big mistake? And 2 months before, I thought, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to be here in my own home. This is crazy. This is so crazy. But then after I left, I've never looked back, and it's just grown and grown and grown on me. And I really, really like this lifestyle. But it's not for everybody. A lot of people, they need that home base. They want that home base. But I thought, if I don't like it, I can always go back and start over, get some more. IKEA furniture.
And that's so true. I think that is one great piece of advice here. Simply try it out once, and if you don't like it, you can always go back to. I mean, your old life doesn't run away; it will sit there and wait for you. At least that's what I'm thinking.
And if you're uncertain, try to just keep your place. Maybe rent it out on Airbnb. Have somebody live there, and say, okay, I'm doing 6 months to test it out. What does it feel? And I know a lot of nomads, they do that, and then they say, well, I'm totally fine without having that, and then they go back and sell the place or get rid of the lease, and then they do it more. And some people, they say, I like to be at home, so I like to have my stuff around. And you can, I think, just try it out, and it sounds so simple, but just do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So many interesting aspects, and I can definitely feel this positive energy from you, and you're living your best life right now. So well, first of all,
totally,
congratulations to that, and then thanks again for being on the show. And when people want to reach you, where can they reach you?
Well, the best place is to go to the radiovagabond.com. There you can find all the ways to get a hold of me. There's a contact button on the website, radiovagabond.com. And if you want to listen to the podcast, where I not only talk about my own journey, but I also do interviews with other nomads and other travelers. We need to have you guys on as well.
Yes.
That's a good place to start as well, if you're interested in the lifestyle, because I try to share some of my own thoughts of what it's like, and then try to speak to other people who are doing it very different that I'm doing it. And there's no right or wrong way of being a nomad or being a traveler. But I hope that that's an inspiration. And if you search for the podcast, remember that it's the Radio Vagabond, because I also do it in Danish. And if you just type Radio Vagabond, you'll get the Danish version. And if you're Danish, please do that. But the Radio Vagabond in any podcast app out there.
Okay, and I put the link in the description below, so I make sure that people get your way and check out the great stuff that you're putting out there. So again, Palle, thanks so much for being on the show and sharing all this great information and interesting insights. And thanks for everyone who was listening today. And like I said initially, I'm putting out a new episode every now and then, so make sure to check back and subscribe to the channel, the podcast, and do the plunge, try it out. That's my message for today. Like Palle and we agree on that one. If you're still wondering, just try it out for once. Okay, bye and thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you for having me.
And